Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing season 28, AI shining the light, revealing the cracks. And we're going to continue. This is part 2 of our interview. And we're going to continue talking about virtual assistants and how that relates to AI and those artificial assistants, basically, that we have currently. This is the Developeneur podcast, also known as Building Better Developers. I am Rob Broadhead, one of the founders of Developeneur, also the founder of RB Consulting, where we help you avoid expensive, costly, mind-blowingly painful technology mistakes before they happen. We get you a little clarity and help make sure that you get on the right path. Good thing and bad thing. Good thing is, I'm going to toot my own horn. This is like we've talked about chip here and there and things like that. We've got our own internal operating system we've been working on for quite a while. And it has really started to come together in the last few weeks and definitely last months. But it's like really we're starting to see a lot of momentum going. We've got a lot of really good assets, intellectual property and things like that we have gotten nailed down, and it's that much easier for us to work with it. The bad side is I've got too many things I want to do. There's all these things I can do with this, and now I've got to rein it back in and just keep it a little step at a time. Not going too long in the introduction and passing it over so Michael can do his.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael Malash. I'm one of the co-founders of Building Better Developer, also known as Developeneur. I'm also the founder of Vision QA, where we help businesses understand their systems, fix what's slowing them down, and move forward with confidence. Good thing, bad thing. I'll go back to gaming. New season of Arc Raiders came out. I've been having some fun with that. Bad side, I'm still too busy to have time to enjoy life. So I'm still trying to put the guardrails in to free up my time.
Using those AI terms with your personal gaming life, that's probably not a good sign. You probably should just decompress and just go play all the time. Okay, maybe not that. But I digress. We will go on into let's return to our conversation. This is a really good one. This is one of those things we haven't talked really. I don't know that we've ever spent real time with a VA company like this. And so I think we've got some great questions. He's got great answers and a great challenge coming up. So pencils up, open that notebook, get ready to take some good notes, because we are going to continue right where we left off in part 2 of our interview. Is there a certain background that you found that the successful VAs have, or that is more likely to make them successful as a VA?
No, that's a good question. I mean, I would say, most of our VAs are former admins that were working 40 hours a week. They were working as an admin for leaders. They maybe didn't want to do that anymore. And fractional is really attractive right now. You guys know the fractional space very well, and it gives them the flexibility to go out there and kind of work on their own terms and work the hours they want to. But yeah, I mean the ones that we see that are the best are they worked for many years in an office 40 hours a week as a secretary the old school way, and now that they can kind of do this from a virtual setting in their remote workplace, but still do the same type of things and be able to serve clients across the country from virtual, which that's a game changer. So those are the ones that we find the best.
And then I think on the flip side of that, what are some traits that you find in your customers that are going to make them more likely to be successful with a VA?
The customers that can communicate and admit that they don't know what they're doing and they don't know what to delegate. I love those customers. And when we have an initial call with somebody who thinks they have it all figured out, those generally don't go too well. But with our good clients, the one that have been the most successful, honestly, they didn't know what they're doing at all when they came in. That's amazing. That's fine. We get that. That's where we can help the most. But especially at the beginning, where if you could be communicative with our internal team and your virtual assistant, and the first 90 days of the engagement is the most critical, because you're learning each other, you're learning your workflows, you're learning how to delegate. And if the virtual assistant can't get a hold of you, or our team internally can't get a hold of you to kind of help you and coach you through that, and you're not communicative, that's that's the biggest red flag. The ones that are open to coaching and feedback, and because again, as I mentioned before, our team has seen every type of business and every type of problem in a business that a virtual assistant can and can't solve. If you're open to learning about that, and just getting coached on how to delegate, that's where you're going to have the most success. But be available. Make your there's plenty of people that I know that are too busy to pick up a phone or return a phone call. That's and those clients generally don't work out too well. If you can have the conversation with us, we're here to help. So that usually sets you up for success.
Now, you mentioned coaching a couple of times. Is that part of your package? You have sort of an official, like, here's some additional coaching we're going to do, or is it more of you just take it as case by case basis?
Yeah, so it's our it comes with our service. So when you the first 90 days especially, you're going to have a number of calls with our internal relationship specialist. That is the dedicated kind of account manager, if you will, that's kind of the liaison between you and the virtual assistant. So, there's going to be things you may not want to tell the virtual assistant directly, like, you don't want to offend, but because again, there's always going to be something that, they can improve on, or, so you want to use your account manager for that. So, yes, there's a number of over the first 90 days, especially, there's a number of kind of check-in calls that are set there. And I, sometimes everything's awesome and it's going great, God bless. We love that to happen. But if at the end of the day, we want to serve our clients as best as we can and for as long as we can. So if you're not getting the total value out of the service, we want to know that and kind of nip that in the bud as soon as possible. So yeah, there's certainly plenty of coaching available on our end, and we love doing that, and we honestly love helping people that need help with the delegation that haven't done it in the past.
So you touched on something right there. You want to give the best value to your customers. How, for people that may not have ever used a VA, or they're just getting started with you, you're coaching with them. How do you show the value to them? How do you show their return on investment with using a virtual assistant? Because sometimes, especially at the beginning, they're so overwhelmed that even handing off a little piece may not seem like they've made any progress. So how do you essentially show the ROI back to your customers as you're slowly building this relationship with the VA?
That's an awesome question. We asked them to look at where they were when they had the initial conversation with us, and then we asked them to look at about 90 days in and see and candidly look in the mirror. Has your quality of life gotten better? Has your business workflows gotten better? Have you been able to offload things that you were doing before? That's why we have those check-ins over the first 90 days. It can sometimes be hard to quantify the dollar amount of the ROI, but I can tell you, if you ask most of our clients what it was like when they started with the initial kind of sales call with us versus 90 days, and then they're being honest with themselves. I want them to 100% say that my life is better with this. If it's not, then we haven't done our job. So, that's why we don't have any long-term contracts, anything like that. We're a month-to-month service. We want to prove ourselves every single month that we're helping you out as a business owner and leader to get time back in your day. And if we don't, we don't want you using the service, quite frankly, because we've failed at our job. So, that's we do things the right way, and things all inherently always, when you're working with people, not everyone's going to mesh. There's plenty of times where you're paired with a virtual assistant, and for whatever reason, you just don't vibe and work well together. That's also where we shine. If you were to go hire the virtual assistant on your own, you would, and that happened, you would have to go back out, start the process from step one. We've got a whole bunch of over 100 of these US-based virtual assistants, so we can kind of rematch you and make sure you're paired with the right person. But yeah, ROI is tough to qualify. But when you're a client of ours, when you answer yourself honestly, where was I on this stage when I first talked to them? Where am I on day 90? It's night and day usually, and that's what keeps people using the service.
So based on that, so I'm going to ask a little bit of a harder question. So can you give us an example of, you took on a client, started a process with the VA, and it went off the rails? Like it didn't work out. How, the relationship it just wasn't working. The customer wasn't understanding it. The VA was. How did you handle that situation? Like, how did you rectify it, or
Sure.
was it just not, solvable?
And that's happened plenty of times, and it's just kind of the nature of the business. I mean, one I'm thinking of specifically that happened not too long ago is from the initial kind of sales call they had with us. They needed the VA to do your normal admin tasks, and then once the VA got into the engagement, everything kind of switched. They had this VA, trying to make sales calls and trying to make cold calls and things like that. And they thought, hey, I have this engagement. I'm paying X amount of dollars for X amount of hours per month. I should be able to kind of use as I see fit. And our VAs are a lot of things. They're very talented. They can do a lot of things, but there are plenty of things that they shouldn't be doing. They're not going to be cold callers. They're not going to be business development reps. Like there's other services for that. So in this case in particular, I picked up the phone myself and I said, listen, this is it's just not, we're probably not the best fit for you. I know plenty of people that do the business development. I can make some introductions there. You're a nice guy, and we appreciate you giving it a shot. But it's not going to work, and they're not always going to work out. You're never going to bat 1,000. But as long as on our end, we really just, we are a small business and we know what these small business owners are going through. So, we just try to put our best foot forward and really do the right and kind thing each time, because we're, our goal again is to keep you as long as possible with our service and make sure you're getting value out of it. If you're not, then it's not good for anybody. I mean, it makes sense just to kind of cut ties, if you will.
Do you see, 'cause I know there's some people that it doesn't work for them, but then there's the others that it does. Do you see a lot of situations where they, will say, like, dip a toe in, they start out, and then they really do start scaling their business and really start to grow now that they realize the value that a VA brings to them?
Absolutely. This, I mean, that is our I think that's what kind of sets us apart. There's a lot of companies that do what we do, quite frankly. We've been around for 11 years. Now there's a VA company on every corner, especially since the pandemic. We've been around for 11 years because we do things the right way, and we really want to start you small, and especially if you've never used a VA before. And the greatest wins for us is when somebody starts small. Our minimum package is 25 hours a month, so roughly 6 hours a week. But when the biggest wins for us is somebody starts at 25 hours a month, 6 months down the road they're at 80 hours a month. Like that, they see the value so much that they keep scaling up, and they use that VA, and maybe they add another VA, and sometimes teams of VAs. So that's really the best way to do it. I'm not private equity owned where we need to, throw numbers on a board where we have to hit X amount of hours in new sales. Like that's kind of sets us apart from a lot. There's some other good companies, but that's unfortunate side of it when you've got, shareholders and people to answer to. But we're still very boutique in that. I mean, I'm thinking of one the other day. It's a person that started with us probably 90 days ago. I got a text from him. He said the three best decisions I ever made in my life were my family, LASIK surgery, and this virtual assistant that I got. So I was happy to hear that, and I'm right along there with him.
Now, do you have with this? And you said you tend to have very long relationships with your VAs and the customers. How do you maintain your VAs? How do you retain those, or do you just sort of allow them to grow into customers and then you just sort of backfill?
Yeah, so our VAs are all 1099 contractors. So they are, they are not W-2 employees of us by any means. So they can kind of come and go as they please. But our VAs stay with us longer than any other company that I've seen in the industry from the data. So they like working with us because the clients that we have are they're good fits for them, quite frankly. We don't bring in clients just to throw things against the wall and try to hope these engagements go well. We're very intentional up front to make sure that the person and the new client that we're working with is someone that is a fit for our service and needs to delegate traditional admin work. So we underwrite the heck out of it up front on the client side. So when we give a VA an engagement, they they tend to stay with them. I think, and then our clients stay with us a long time too. I get a lot of data in this industry, but our clients stay with us longer than most in this industry, which tells you a lot about our service. But yeah, they're 1099 contractors and certainly not W-2 employees, but they tend to stay with us because we treat them well.
It's funny how that works out. You treat people well, and they stick around.
It's amazing. I see it every day. It's life is not complicated. You treat people well, and you get good results. But
well, that brings us to you've been treating us well with this conversation, and how would the people who are listening? How would they best reach out to you, or if they want to learn more about you, or explore the VAs that you offer?
Sure. Our website is peachtreeva.com. So you can go on there. Our website's got any question that you would have, you'd be able to answer it on there. There's a link on there to go and book a consultation, which is 15-20 minute call with our business development team. And again, it's a great exercise for anyone, whether you're going to use our service or not. I mean, and I would challenge the audience, or especially new business owners, to really go through your calendar over the last 2 weeks, go through over the last month, and look at what's on there, see what you've been doing honestly, and say what is the best use of my time here to grow my business and get to where I need to be. If you are looking at that calendar and color code things, if you're seeing things that are in colors that could easily be offloaded and delegated to somebody who's quite frankly going to be much cheaper of an hourly employee than you are as the owner, then that's when you're ready to have that conversation. It's pretty simple math there. But yeah, everything is on our website, peachtreeva.com. And we love meeting new businesses regardless. I mean, we talk to all kinds of fun and new businesses, and a lot of times we're honest. We're very honest that you may not be a fit for this service at this point, and that's okay. We're going to stay in front of you. We've got an awesome business development team. You're going to hear from us X amount of times a year, and we're going to try to bring you value. And maybe you are ready for that service at some point. But yeah, we just love meeting great new people and great new businesses and entrepreneurs like you have in your audience here.
Well, excellent. Hopefully we'll get a whole flood of them that head your way after this. We will have links in the show notes, so anybody that's curious can go check that out. And I love that challenge. I think that's something we talk about from time to time, where we've talked about, look at your calendar, look at where you spend your time. And this is a great opportunity. I love the idea of color coding. And it's like, select a few items that you do during your week and say, these are red. These are the things I got to do. These are green. I can pass them off to anybody, and then follow through with that and go test out the VA. It is definitely, I think it's a great experience for anybody to try. If you're not comfortable delegating and leading, I think hiring a VA is a great way to improve your entrepreneurial chops and executive chops as well. That being said, we're going to wrap this one up. We have hit our time for this time around. Feel free to reach out and learn a little bit more about Peachtree VA and how they can help you out. We appreciate you hanging out and listening with us and becoming better developers, and maybe this will help you become a better entrepreneur as well. As always, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time. Now, for our bonus stuff, you threw out a great challenge. So I was thinking about it. I think I want to go a little bit different on our question for our bonus material here.
Okay.
Obviously, you understand VAs and the business and things like that. How did you get into that? What was your aha moment where you realized that VAs were going to be a great value and allow you to scale your company?
It's funny. 6 months before I bought this company, I had no idea what a VA was. So I started my own company about 7 years ago, a recruiting and headhunting firm. So I bootstrapped that, did everything in the business, was looking to buy another kind of recruiting firm, and came across, I knew I needed admin support, and I didn't know the first thing about support or delegation or anything. So, was looking, maybe I was going to bring somebody into my office and, work 40 hours a week in person. And then I was doing some research and went down the VA rabbit hole, like all great stories. I talked to a lot of companies out there that do what we at Peachtree do. I knew I wanted US based because I needed somebody who could be, kind of client facing and be a real part of the team. So Peachtree is one of the companies that I talked to. I got to know them and I loved their story. They had been in business for probably 6 or 7 years at this point. I bought them in 2022. So developed a great relationship with the owner. She kind of let on that she was a little burned out. She was doing everything in the business as well, and she had young kids, and she was just kind of looking to do something else. And I didn't have the foggiest idea how the business worked, but I said, I love your team. I love what you're doing. You've got a good mindset here. If we can kind of come together with a deal and have the whole team kind of plug and play, we can do this. And it's been I think it's been like 4.5 years now at this point, and it's just been an awesome mix. We have an incredible corporate team here, great people, kind of all rowing in the same direction. So I just fell into it. I never had an assistant until I bought a VA company. So
I don't recommend to those that are listening that you go buy a VA company to try it.
I wouldn't say everyone should do that, but it's that's how I landed here.
That's like the platinum level challenge right there. Is go buy a company. Really
go buy a VA company. See if you need an assistant. There's a lot of them out there right now. So
there are probably quite a few. I think it's going to be interesting seeing where that industry goes, because as we've alluded, I think there's a lot of. It's going to be one of those to be really interesting. There's going to be a lot of crossover between what AI can do, but then I think that's also where a lot of people are realizing that you've got to have a human for some stuff. And you cannot automate. You cannot make a computer that's going to be able to do some of the things that only humans bring to
Rob,
it.
when we don't need that human, I tell people all the time, that's when everything changes. So I mean, it's that day may come, but it's certainly not here yet.
No, there are people trying to get there, but they are not here yet. You don't have to worry about Skynet yet. No Terminators or anything like that. So
I'm thinking more iRobot at this point.
Listen, can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys do this. You're talking to a lot of cool people. I mean, this is your bread and butter, AI. I mean, like, what's the next big thing here? Is it like agentic AI? Like, where are we headed here in the short term?
Short term is, I think we're still figuring stuff out. I think we're in this we're in this a bunch of buzz kind of phase right now. I think a lot of people there are a lot less people doing AI than marketing and such would make you think. I mean, they're doing it, but I mean, they're just doing it and they're trying to figure it out. That's why there's like 80 or 85% of the projects are supposed to fail this year, because people just. Okay, we're just throwing everything at the wall and see what sticks. I am starting to see that there are companies that are leading the charge a little bit, that have been doing this of understanding it. They're realizing what it takes to leverage and to make the most out of AI. And a lot of it is not easy. It's a lot of times it's basically changing your organization. There's a lot of stuff that in a lot of organizations, they rely on humans, they rely on heroes, they rely on people working weekends, all that kind of stuff. When stuff goes wrong, there's a human to step in the gap, and AI is not going to necessarily do that. So organizations are realizing they got to clean it up. So it's going to be interesting. There's a little bit of a bootstrap where they'll do a little AI and they'll learn it, and they do a little more and they learn more about it, and they're building it up that way.
Yeah.
There are definitely going to be. I'm going to say by the time we get into first, second quarter next year, a lot of the first wave of very big AI solutions are going to start hitting. The people I know that are working on them and how they're doing it, I don't think they're going to be like SaaS level, like Salesforce or NetSuite. Everybody's going to hear about it. I think they're going to be, smaller groups than that. So and a lot of them are going to be industry specific. So it may be like suddenly people in real estate are going to find a couple related to that, or people in HR are going to find some recruiting or things like that. I don't think anybody's going for the whole big, enchilada yet, but there's a lot of these things that looks like they'll be hitting, live and product and production kind of releases to a real level, not just like a demo or something like that by end of this year, probably more likely, first half of next year. But I think that's what it's like everything else. It's people are going to change, business is going to have to change, and there's a lot of money being thrown at it. So we'll see. I think there's going to be it's definitely going to continue to do so for at least a short term until the money dries up. And if people can start making money with it, so much the better. Be just like the cloud and the internet.
And I see the personal AI machines coming towards the end of the year. Apple's already basically has positioned the new MacBook line as your own, build your own personal LM models. The new Mac Studio is already going to leapfrog. They're saying this is going to be a 1 year where they roll out an M6 chip, and then next year they're going to do M7 Max, and potentially have a Mac Studio that can handle 1.5 terabytes of memory. So the home AI models are going to be coming faster than I think even the corporate ones want to even admit at this point.
So would you equate that to just like the companies have their internal LLMs and, you know, kind of intranets, if you will, so that like that'll get to a point where it's just going to individuals like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing companies, I mean, especially in governments like banks and hospitals, they have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Ask us again in a month and we'll probably give you completely different answers.
I'll keep listening to the pod and then I'll get my answer in the coming month.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you've got a hard stop here in a couple of minutes. So we will get these out in a few weeks. We'll send you links beforehand. Feel free to share them wherever you want. And
yeah,
if there's
share.
anything
we've got a good social media following. I think 25,000 followers on LinkedIn. We'll definitely promote the heck out of it. I appreciate you guys taking the time. You guys do an awesome job with this podcast, and thanks for having me.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's a great time talking with you. And if we can help you anytime between now and then, let us know. And have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
All right.
Take care.
Bye. All right. Super fast close. 3, 2,